actually, I've lost 2 huge listings recently because people are more concerned about the bottom line, which I understand, but, you know, what are you going to do to get there? I'm not going to compromise my integrity,
Right.
or my values, or my worth.
Thank you.
Because, you know, I know real estate is very competitive, and you can get there's thousands of realtors to choose from. I only want the ones that want to work with me and that I want to work with. I'm not a fit for everybody.
Right.
And that's okay.
Hi everyone, this is Amy Valdivia, and this is the Just Ask Upland Podcast, where we are highlighting all of our chamber members. And boy, oh boy, do we have a powerful chamber, because why? I think I told you once or twice before, but I'm going to tell you again. We have been voted the best chamber in the Inland Valley. Bam! That's right, that's who we are. And I am so excited because today I have a powerful, powerful guest with me who brings her own mug. Who does that? Usually you see me with my chamber mug. Oh no, she comes with her own brand. She is the one and only Miss Sonja Coffee with RE/MAX Champions Real Estate. Thank you so very much for being with me today. I appreciate your time.
Wow, that was wonderful. Thank you.
So let's just jump right into this. Who's Sonja?
Who's Sonja Coffee? Well, from Sonja Coffee, I am a woman of faith. I am a mother. I am a wife and a Mimi. I am loving being a Grammy, and I am a breast cancer survivor.
Wow.
And an entrepreneur.
I was going to say.
Yeah, and an entrepreneur.
Yes. Isn't that kind of why we're here
yes,
connected from the chamber?
Yes.
Now, all of that, and then you reminded yourself, oh yeah, I happen to be a businesswoman.
Yes.
I must say, a businesswoman that many people know and many people are connected to, because your reach is far and wide in our area. To get there though, you had to dig deep. And that's what I want everybody to know. I don't want them just to see all the pretty signs and that pretty face of this powerful real estate agent that really can help. However, I want them to know, why did you do this? Why did you choose real estate? Tell me a little bit about your journey.
Oh, how much time do you have? Well, I was feast and famine, first and foremost. I left my home when I was 16, so I've always had that entrepreneurial attitude. I had to survive, and when I moved to California when I was 18, I started a company with my family, a cheerleading company that lasted 30 years for me. They're still going, but I got the idea of working for myself early on, and I wanted to have control over my life. And real estate, 2002 is when I entered real estate. So 1990, I moved here in 1991, 92, and then real estate came into the picture in 2002 when I was introduced to it by a mutual friend. And I was struggling in my marriage. Financially, it was extremely hard. And I was introduced to real estate. And there's no limit. There's no limit to what you can make. It is completely up to you how successful you can be. So being an entrepreneur and working for myself, I figured, well, you know what, I'm going to try this. And then my ex-husband and I, we started getting into flipping homes and finding out what that all entailed and working with other agents. And I don't want to bash my colleagues, but it was an eye-opener to what the industry really needed and that what I could give. And so it just opened up a lot of doors.
What do you mean, what you could give?
What I could give, better service, more compassion. I think putting myself in the shoes of a buyer or a seller rather than a hungry realtor or a hungry business person just looking for a quick buck, I knew that I could give more. And I've had that passion. you want to ask me why, what is my why? It took me a long time. I mean, I'm 52 now, and it's been a long journey. Every year you have to set goals. And that's another thing. I don't set goals, I set intentions. Now, goals are something that, if you don't meet those goals, it could turn around on a very, negative feeling. But intentions are something that you intend to do it. And if you don't do it, then you know what? You're not as hard on yourself, I find. So instead of goals, I call them intentions.
Nice.
So I set these intentions every year, and I'm always asked, what is your why? You go to all these seminars and classes and my coaches, and what's your why? And I don't know, make money? I don't know, how much money do you want? It never resonated in my inner core. My why meant anything to me until in my quiet time, just recently, literally this year, why am I doing this? What am I doing? Why? And it kept coming up because, Sonja, you love to serve. You love to help. And I went to my husband, Andrew, and I said, is that just cliche? Like, I love to help. But truly, he says, Sonja, you do so much for other people, and I see you the happiest. I don't want to cry.
That's okay.
But it's true. And when you find your why, my whole life just kind of had more purpose. And I thought, okay, now I can move on. What am I doing? I'm helping and serving people. It just so happens that I'm in real estate. That's what I'm really good at. And I help and serve in other areas of my life too, volunteering, feeding the homeless, or just reading to kids and helping my daughter just in life, listening to my girlfriends and having an open ear and just being there. So helping and serving is my why. And real estate, boy, do we need that. We need more of genuine people who want to help and serve. And yes, we all have to make a living, but there's a difference. There's a big difference. Yeah.
And I think the pandemic truly made us look twice at who we are and how we're serving our community.
Absolutely.
You were front lines.
I had one of the best years during the pandemic.
And you had the opportunity to see the fear in people's eyes.
Absolutely.
As they were walking into a home. And the fear in the seller's eyes as they were getting ready to exit their home and didn't know what the next step was for them.
That was tough.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
That was tough. Well, Amy, I would love to give a shout out to the Association of Realtors, who actually went to Sacramento and fought for us to be able to work during the pandemic, because they got that bill passed that we were essential workers. So that is huge. We wouldn't have been able to work without that being passed. So during the pandemic, the real estate industry, we were on fire because, at that time people didn't know what to do. But I'll tell you, the people who actually were able to continue their careers and bump it up to the next, level were the ones who wanted to help and serve. I was able to help people when they didn't know what to do. They were undecisive of, should we sell, should we buy? And I wasn't afraid to go in to help. It was a pretty scary thing. I had to make sure that I wasn't going to get COVID, and I had to take precautions, but I figured out a way. And when you figure out a way, anything's possible. I truly believe that.
And part of all that were gloves and sanitizer.
So what we had, and we had a lot of regulations. I mean, for realtors and in this industry, we had to, we could have been fined a lot if we didn't follow the guidelines. So it was a lot of video calls. It was a lot of supplies. It was going into the property before anyone got there, washing everything down, spraying it down, preparing the home for what needed to be done for people to walk in, setting up appointments. I mean, there were times where I had open houses and there were just, the line was so long, it was around the corner because one family could go in at a time. But you find a way. And because we were allowed to do it and they wanted to buy still, they wanted to sell. So I was not going to sit on the sidelines as many did, and to each is their own. However, it was a great opportunity for me in my business, and it was a great opportunity to see what I was made of. Am I strong, or am I just gonna sit back and take a vacation? But that's not in my blood. Being an entrepreneur, you find a way.
I think that everything you just said goes back to the humanity that is necessary for our business.
Absolutely.
You sat there, and of course I can picture you on the phone coordinating your appointments, but then you had to go into this home and you had to prepare it. Because you genuinely, not only do you have these regulations to follow, but you need to prepare and take care and protect your clients and the sellers to make sure that the wheels continue going around.
Absolutely. A lot of cleaning, a lot of sterilizing everything, and I went through a lot of supplies. Yes.
And protecting your family at the same time.
Correct. When you come home, you take your clothes off, you throw away everything that you touched. It was a process, and that process made me stronger too, because it helped me really find a deeper part in myself that I'm not afraid, and they're all things we can still proceed if you have the will and you have the desire. It could have been a great vacation.
I want to tap into a statement you just made, that you don't have that fear.
No.
And I believe you don't carry that fear because of your faith.
Correct. My faith is a huge part of my life. Always has been.
And I have spent time with you, and I know how central it is. How do you incorporate your faith into what you do?
Ooh. Well, daily I get up, and I cannot start my day without my quiet time and my time with the Lord. This is a rough business, especially now. The market is a tough market right now. It's going through some hard times. And if I'm not grounded in my faith, knowing that I can't control what happens, then it gives me the strength and the mindset to do what I'm supposed to do. Now, I'm not perfect, okay? I take days sometimes and I'm wah, but I really feel that if you, and whatever religion you have, whoever your higher being is, your God, if you don't have that, I feel in your being, it's hard to take on everything yourself. It's nice to say, okay, I throw up, what's that song? Carrie Underwood. Jesus, take the wheel. Because if we try to do everything ourselves, it's going to come down. It's going to come tumbling down sooner rather than later. But for me, my faith grounds me in knowing that I am not in control. And it took me a long time. When my daughter listens to this, she's going to probably laugh because she knows the real Sonja and what we went through. And her childhood was pretty tough. And I was married for 17 years, and it was 15 years of it was horrible. And my faith got me through that. I think when I had breast cancer, not knowing if I was going to live or die, I had a week of bliss, and I got so close with the Lord in my faith because I didn't know what was going to happen. And that breast cancer was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I obviously lost, one of my breasts, but it was, I look at it now and it's a reminder of one of the best times of my life.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Many individuals look at those struggles. Mm-hmm. No, we're not going there.
I'm not a
victim. We are not going to go there.
I know.
You raised a young girl.
Beautiful young girl.
And she now gave you a beautiful grandbaby. You had to survive, and so you pulled up the bootstraps and said, time to get to work. All while digging deep, remembering your faith. Oh, and then the Lord said, I think I'm going to test you and with this thing called breast cancer. Any of those situations could have made you stop? There is a young girl, a young woman, a mom that's sitting there saying, now what? What do I do? What's the Sonja words of wisdom?
Don't give up. Don't lose hope. Ground yourself in something bigger than yourself.
There was a moment when I sat in a room with you recently, and you said, I need to reel myself in, or something to that effect. And you said, because I just need to show that I need to work on the person that I want to be, or I need to be a good person. And I need to center myself. I need to reel it all in.
Mm-hmm.
I acted inappropriately, and I'm not pleased with the way I acted, and I need to put it back into perspective. And I observed.
Wow.
And I thought, she's got it right. She's not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Correct.
But she's willing to recognize, and she's willing to say, okay, now I got to come back. Now I got to get straight and walk forward.
Right.
Move forward.
Recalibrate, as
Yes.
we know someone would say often.
Absolutely.
And that's part of my faith. That's part of my walk with saying I have faith, because one of the biggest things that I struggle with is I'm not a perfect person, but I don't want to ever have someone fall or stumble because of my actions. And so when I don't act or respond the way that I know I should, as any human being, it's not even about faith, it's just about being a decent human being. I'm the hardest on myself. And it's nice to know that I can say, okay, bring it in, let's regroup, because, also being stubborn and prideful will ruin you. Being prideful, that's one of my pet peeves with people, is pride, and just thinking that, I'm a victim, or I'm too prideful, or, we're all human, so we have our ups and downs, but I think my faith has grounded me to know that when I'm wrong, and you better acknowledge it. And even in work, I have to go back and say, I'm sorry, I screwed up, or I'm sorry, I forgot this document, or I'm sorry, I double booked someone. I have to go back, because if I don't, it'll eat away at me. Never mind them, they don't even know. Going to someone who doesn't know that I messed up is hard, but I have to do it, because I don't want to be that person that is a fake or who isn't a good example. And it's not about other people giving me praise, it's about me laying my head down on my pillow and being able to sleep, right? So there's a big difference. And I'm not a saint, we all have our ups and downs, but I strive to treat other people like I want to be treated. And that's where it came with my why. I just can't believe that recently, this year, like I said, 52, and I just figured out my why, and I've been in business for 22 years. My true why, to help and serve in a genuine way. And I'm blessed that I get to do it in real estate, because it's a very lucrative business. You can work as much as you want, or work as less as you want. And it all depends on you.
What a beautiful way. See, you circled it. You did the full circle. And I want the listeners to hear this, and please see who this human is, because this is the humanity that we talk about in our industry. And I say our because I close the home loans, she does the real estate side. But let me tell you, there are individuals in our industry that, boy.
Yeah, we wish that they would take a break.
That's a great way of putting it. And when you have those that really want to serve,
right,
this is how you do it.
Right.
And you do reel yourself back in, center yourself again, and then get back out there and help another family.
And it's a very competitive business. It's competitive. And these days it finds, I've lost a few, actually I've lost 2 huge listings recently, because people are more concerned about the bottom line, which I understand, but you know, what are you going to do to get there? I'm not going to compromise my integrity or my values or my worth.
Thank you.
Because, you know, I know real estate is very competitive, and you can get there's thousands of realtors to choose from. I only want the ones that want to work with me and that I want to work with. I'm not a fit for everybody.
Right.
And that's okay. And losing those 2 huge multi-million-dollar deals, I cried. Why? But you know what? At the end of the day, because it wasn't meant to be. For whatever reason, I was protected by the Lord, and it wasn't meant to be. Now, my other side, my worldly, and my gut was crying and fighting, and I should have done this, I should have done that. And my husband's like, no, you're not going to waver. No, it wasn't for you. There'll be another one. Work harder. Work harder.
I think that's the message that I hope young women especially,
Absolutely.
young entrepreneurs, but young women entrepreneurs especially need to hear.
Yes.
Right? Know your worth.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you have to walk away from those transactions.
Yes.
And as hard as it is, the dollar may not necessarily be the best long-term plan.
Right.
Here we are talking real estate, and we've done very little of that because that's not your application. Your application is really to serve.
Yes.
I need to talk a little bit about business though.
Okay.
What's the number one question you're receiving these days?
Oh, goodness. It's the same question I receive all the time. How's the market, Sonja? It's so, you know, I've learned through a coach never to answer that question like everyone else does. The answer to that question is, I don't know. It depends. Are you buying or are you selling? There's a big difference, person to person, finance to finance. So what happens when I get that answer or that question, I always come back with, well, first, are you buying or selling? If you're selling, it's weird because, you know, a lot of people don't even think about this. I said, have you met with a lender yet? Why would I meet with a lender? I'm selling my home. I understand that, but where are you going? Where are you going? Well, I'm going to buy another house. Oh, okay. So that means you're going to get financed, or are you paying all cash? Well, no, I'm going to have a loan. So what I do in my business is I like to strategize with each client, and I help them make a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're just out there wishing, wondering, and, you know, winging it. And I can't work like that. So answering a question, how's the market, which is the most popular question I think for any realtor, is you could have a room full of people, and each person, that market's going to be different for them. Your credit score is going to be different. Your finances are going to be different. Your desires and your wants, are all different. So I can give you the interest rate. I can tell you we are in a shortage, a supply and demand. The property values are ridiculous. The interest rates are high. Back in the 80s they were 18. Well, guess what? The property values weren't this high. So, it's sitting down with the client and saying, if you really want to know what the market is for you, give me 30 minutes. Let's make your plan, because your neighbor's plan is completely different. Even the interest rates. People say, well, interest rates are this. Well, not for 5 people. They could all be different. And you know that.
It's a personalized plan.
Correct.
And I think, again, going back to the message we need to share with our listeners is that is your approach. You're serving, but you're a personalized service to your client.
Correct.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. To offer these services, there always has to be a business plan. And part of the business plan is going out and getting new clients, meeting new people, connecting. Earlier, I commented on your reach is far and wide. California only?
California only right now.
Okay. The whole state of California?
Correct.
You are a pretty powerful woman in this area.
Ooh, I don't know about that. But
I absolutely know.
okay.
Multiple chambers of commerce.
Yes. I love my chambers.
Tell me why. That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Oh, okay.
Tell me why.
Well, first of all, shout out to all the chambers, because I think chambers are, they are the pillar of the community. And I am a member of 3 chambers, Upland being my favorite, of course.
Thank you very much. I was going to say, let's not name everybody unless
Nope.
we're just naming Upland.
I will speak of Upland, which has been very, very good to me. Early on I was in real estate for a few years, quite a few years before I was being coached. I really believe in coaching. A lot of my success comes from getting help, right? Because I'm alone. RE/MAX is a broker who holds my license. Yes, they offer training, and I am always there for legal seminars, but you're on your own. So years ago, what am I doing? I can't get leads. How do I do this? And my coach had said at that time, well, what about the chamber? Chamber of Commerce, isn't that for old people? Like, what? I didn't know anything about it. So I showed up at the chamber one day and loved it. And I was a member with this certain chamber for 14 years. And then I've been a member with your chamber, Upland Chamber, for 10 years, and another for 10. And during the time that I have been a member, most of my business comes from the chambers. One year, Upland Chamber, I was getting referral after referral after referral, and I am so grateful and so humbled by the trust and the people that I meet, because they're all business people. The Chamber of Commerce are business people, and they're like-minded people who want to do business with other people the same. So I found that, and not only just business, Amy, we're quite good friends
Right.
because of the chamber. I would say 75 to 80% of my friends are chamber members. And that's so daring. It's awesome. And so, but the Chamber of Commerce is somewhere you go to build your business, to network, and it's not all about getting. You have to give too. So people forget. I hear people, I was a member there and I didn't get anything. Well, what did you give? What did you do to earn their business? Did you refer them business? Did you go to the mixers? Did you let people know who you were? Well, it didn't work for me. Okay, well, that year that you showed up twice, well, I'm sorry, that didn't work for you. But it takes time. It takes work. And then it doesn't seem like work. It's fun. And you get to do all the activities, and then people get to know you. And I think that's how I actually, to this day, still have referrals that come from the chamber, and I wouldn't give my chambers up for anything.
How much information and how much knowledge did we just receive? You just taught an entrepreneur how to start their business.
Absolutely. I tell them all the time.
Just become a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Choose your chamber wisely. #Upland.
Yes. Yes.
And just get involved.
Right.
You can't just show up once or twice.
Right.
You have to work it.
Well,
The membership wants to support.
right.
Go ahead.
It's not, and it's also have the mindset of it's not all take.
Right.
And that's, I think, a lot of the issues with some people that don't have nice things to say about the chamber, because they expect, I'm going to join the chamber and I'm just going to get referrals. It's not how it works. And also, you have to find the right chamber. Out of the 3 chambers, there are 3 very distinctive vibes I get.
Right.
One is business, one is family, more small business, and the other is different. Yes, just very established, right? So you have 3, and it's finding the right chamber for you,
Right.
Because there are plenty of them. I mean, even if you live in one town, you can go to the next town. You don't have to go to the chamber in your town. So, well, for me in real estate anyway, it works because I can sell anywhere. But I think being able to utilize the benefits of the chamber, you have to want to give, I keep saying, but you also have to work it, right? I have I think with the memberships now, 3, 4, over 1,100 people. Listen to this, okay? If you want to get business and you want to do it on a warm call, not a cold call, and if you're in sales, you know what I mean, you have 1,200 people you can reach out to. hi, I'm a member of the same chamber you are. Is there anything that I could do for you? Send them a newsletter, give them a call, pop in on them. Those are things that you can do to earn your trust, get the business, and then it's not just about you. It's about you serving. See, here we go back to the serving again.
That's right.
And another big aspect of the chambers is when you're in sales or any business and you have to refer other business out to your clients, who are you going to use? Well, you can go to Yelp, yes, but I have a plethora of people I can call because I am with 3 chambers. You need a plumber, you need a doctor, you need an electrician, you need social media, anything. Well, because I'm so active in my chambers, I can refer you to so many different people. And that's a big part of it too. It's relationships and it's being able to give before you get. And you will see what happens, and it's going to be positive.
It multiplies.
It does.
And then you show up with your fun marketing material because, of course, with a last name like Coffee,
I know.
Who comes with their own mugs? Did I say that earlier? My goodness. It's just fantastic. You have marketing material everywhere.
Right.
And that's just, you make sure that your name is out there.
Sure. Sometimes coffee is actually, it actually hurts sometimes because in my search engines and stuff, coffee will come up, the drink coffee, coffee cakes, coffee something. It's like, do you sell, I get all the time, do you sell coffee? Do you sell coffee? No, I sell real estate. Coffee, apple pie, and the American dream. I give out apple pies and coffee, and it's a great slogan. It's a great slogan. It's a great name to have. And I'm very grateful that I am able to touch so many people with my branding, and I hope it encourages people to get their name out there, because without branding, it's hard. It's hard.
Right.
And I didn't put my photo on my for sale sign. I had a hard time years. I think I went 5 or 6, 7 years without my photo on anything.
Really?
Because I felt it was too, I'm not conceited, but pompous. I don't, this, and I said, no, I'm not going to have my face out there. And I am humble, but I know I am pretty. I get told I'm pretty all the time, and I didn't want to be prideful or look at me. But let me tell you, as soon as I put my photo on my business card and my sign, I get Google calls. People who, vet me, they go, oh, I was on Google, and you just looked nice. You looked sweet. You looked honest. And if I hadn't have put my photo, I wouldn't have gotten those leads.
People need to know, like, and trust you.
So don't be afraid of that. So if branding is a huge part in sales. And if you don't brand, you might be missing out.
Now that we've talked business, I want to go back just a little bit.
Okay.
You left home at 16.
Yes.
From?
I left home at 16. I lived in Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. My first job was 12. I was calling bingo for seniors. I think that's why I have such a heart for my seniors. I love working with seniors. But I worked hard in my life. And when I was in high school, I always say I lived my college life in high school. So when I was 16, I had my own apartment and I worked, and I'll never forget. And ironically, I worked for an attorney. So I was going to quit high school, and my counselor, I was in the business courses, and my high school counselor she wouldn't let me quit. She just would not let me quit. So she said, you're going to do a work study. You're going to come to school from 7 to 12, and then you're going to go to work from 12:30 to 5, and you're going to figure it out. And so she got me a job with a real estate attorney in Attleboro, Massachusetts, Attorney Kolbach. Attorney Kolbach is my inspiration. He is the one that saved my life. I will not cry. And my counselor. But so I went to school from 7, and I lived in a couple places, but I was traveling from Pawtucket, Rhode Island to Attleboro High School every morning for 2 years. And I graduated. I went to school from 7 to 12, and then I went to the attorney's office from 12:30 to 5, and then he got me, Attorney Kolbach got me a job waitressing. So I went from my office job and I worked till 11, and then I drove 45 minutes, and I did that for 2 years in high school. And that obviously made me grow up a lot faster, but I was in survival mode, and I knew my mom at a young age instilled responsibility. I mean, she was making us pay room and board. I got my first job, and it was like I had to give her my paycheck and buy my, toiletries and stuff. And I thought, well, we didn't have a good relationship, and something happened that one last time, and I packed my Toyota Celica up and I left, and I never went back. And then when I was 18, I was in a terrible relationship with Mr. Rhode Island, a bodybuilder. That was horrible. And so it forced me to figure out, I gotta get out of here. And we have relatives in California, so I just called my aunt up, my Aunt Dolores, who I started the cheerleading business with. I had met her once, and I said, I have to get out of here. I'm capable of, supporting myself, but I want to come to California. So I stayed with her. We started this cheerleading company that's still going. It's one of the largest cheerleading companies in Southern California. And we started that, and she taught me a lot about business. And then I just, I got a lot of my drive from survival, from knowing that, well, at Attorney Kobach, I got the attorney vibe, all the leather and the cherry wood and the clients. And I think at that time when I was 16, I wanted that. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be an attorney, but I couldn't afford to go to school. That was my goal and my dream to this day is to be an attorney, but that's another story. But I just felt...
It's an intention now.
Yes, it is an intention, but 52, I don't know. But I honestly got that drive and desire to have nicer things and to be successful from that experience of being on my own when I was so young. I could have been a victim, I could have been in drug. I don't know what. I think a lot of it is faith too. God didn't allow that, and he instilled in me what I needed to do to get to where I am today, and I'm so grateful, so grateful.
You said the attorney saved your life.
He did.
It's the number one nugget, words of wisdom that still resonate with you every day.
You're not a victim. You're not a victim. Make it happen, Sonja. You're smart. I was never called smart. My whole life. To this day, I have a problem when I hear people call people stupid, or if someone says stupid. It's hard for me because he really instilled in me, you are not stupid, you are smart, and you're not a victim, so make it happen. And to this day, I'll never forget that. Yeah.
So I gotta believe that this grandbaby...
Oh gosh, she is amazing. This grandbaby has a life ahead of her that is gonna be wonderful. She has a wonderful mother, wonderful father, believers that love her so much. And Andrew and I, my husband, we babysit her every Wednesday. So Wednesday night is off limit to everyone in the world because that's our day, and we count down the hours, and now Sunday dinners are a must. Andrew is adamant. It is Sunday with the family. It is Sunday no matter what, no matter where we are, it is with the family. So life is good right now. Business with real estate, it's a hard market, so I don't want to make anyone think that, everything is all bliss, because I have the same problems as a lot of other people do too, but it's all perspective. And it's how you treat yourself and what you put into yourself to get the outcome you want. Because we could all sit back and just say, poor me, or everything is just sucky right now, but you know what? The real estate market is tough for a lot of people, but just know that the more work you put into it, it will get better.
So what's next? What's the next chapter?
The next chapter is I need to step up. With that said, I need to step up my game. I have taken the year to really be with my granddaughter and my daughter. I've spent a lot of time not working, a lot of time, which is okay. And my husband's like, you'll never get this back. And I was there every day for 1 year. And my daughter is she's an absolute awesome mother. Everything is organic. She won't leave the baby, so I'm the only babysitter. But what's next for me is it's time to up my game. It's time to really dive in deep to my profession, and I want to know what I'm truly made of. I want to know that, have I given it my all? Because I haven't to this day. I have not given it my all. I have not been on that phone calling every day. In sales, it's prospecting. And I hate to pick up that phone. I just don't know why. The phone is like, it's like that, it's just
the
like,
nemesis.
Yes, it's just, so for me, the next step for me is to prove to myself that I can be as successful as I want to be. And
Nice.
I have to make up for, my husband and I got married in 2016. And that's why I quit the cheerleading company, actually, because I was doing both for so many years. And the cheerleading company was a lot of work. And when I got married, Andrew said, no more, you need to choose which one. And thank God, I should have chose cheerleading years ago. Real estate. I should have gave up the cheerleading years ago. I would have been, but I was worried. Remember, that was like survival mode.
Right.
I knew I could get that paycheck. In real estate, I may not have a paycheck for 4 months.
Right.
So I quit that cheerleading and I became 100% dedicated to real estate in 2016. And I have done so well, but I know me and I know that there's so much more. And we need to make up for lost time with retirement. We lost, both of us, my husband and I lost everything. And so we're playing catch up. So I have to, if I want to retire and enjoy my third chapter living, I need to step up my game. And I know I'm more I'm capable of so much more. So it's kind of, and I'm competitive, so I want to be competitive with myself. So yeah, it's time to really dive in and get on those phones.
That's the intention and the challenge.
Yes,
set
exactly.
in front
Intention,
of you.
because if it's a goal and I don't do it, then it makes me feel so bad. And I didn't. But intentions are intentions. It's my intention to do this. But if I don't make that call, it's my intention. I can do it tomorrow, and there's always another day. But who are you fooling? The game is against yourself.
True.
It's not about anyone else.
It's true. So I guess we should put the word out that there might be some more chamber memberships out there happening, and open the door a little wider to the Upland Chamber, because you are extremely active in our chamber. And now you get the opportunity to go a little deeper with those relationships.
Yes, I do. And that's another thing that I really need to, put more time with, is cultivating those relationships, popping into the businesses. Hi, Larry, Larry.
Right.
His pineapples. He has made millions off of going into businesses from the chamber
with the pineapple,
handing out pineapples. I don't know if I'm going to do the pineapple, because I found out there's a couple different meanings now, which I thought was hospitality, but you look that up. I don't want people to think.
Technically, it is hospitality.
It is. It
Maybe
was hospitality
not.
first, and then came something else. But anyway, cultivating the relationships in the chamber can go so far, so much more than just sitting in the office calling. So, I need to step up my game, and I'm excited to.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, as everybody's listening to this and they want to work with Sonja, how can they find you?
Well, I'm very easy to find. So you can go online to, you just Google Sonja Coffee, SonjaCoffee.com, SonjaCoffeeRealEstate.com. I am on Facebook, I am on Instagram, I am on LinkedIn, look at my reviews. I have a ton of reviews on Google and Zillow. And if anyone is ever looking to buy or sell, I would 100% be honored to help you and sit down and make a plan and strategize what your real estate goals would be. So give me a call.
I am grateful for your time. Thank you so very, very
Likewise.
much, and I look forward.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
There's so many people you could, and I know they'll get their time,
Yes.
but I appreciate the thought. Thank you.
Well, we need those in our industry especially to spread the word and to help families.
Right.
And I think that you're just going to do a fantastic
Thank
job, as you normally do.
Thank
So thank you so very much.
And one more thing I just
Yes,
want to say to the people
please.
is, I was skeptical about the chamber because there are other realtors. So whatever business that you are in, if you are, kind of contemplating whether to join because there's other businesses or industries and you'd be up against them in competition, don't be. Just do it. Join the chamber, try it out, put the effort forth, and you'll see your return. You really will, but you have to work it. And don't be afraid, because I do have I get people saying, oh, there's too many accountants, there's too many there's too many this, there's that. There's a lot of realtors and there's a lot of lenders, and it's okay. It's enough business to go around.
What's amazing, you brought up a point that we just had another interview and had the same conversation, and collaboration was the word.
Yeah.
It's okay that there are other individuals in the same line of work, because there are times where maybe a client fits better with you than with someone else, or vice versa.
Absolutely.
You said earlier, you're not the right fit for everyone.
Right.
Okay, well, I may not be the right person for you, but I have someone to work with.
Right.
I can put you in touch with somebody else.
Exactly.
That's how networking works. That's how referrals work.
Right.
And that's how our chamber definitely supports
And
each
the Upland
other.
Chamber is so good at that. Oh my
Very
gosh. Terry is so, the things that the Upland Chamber have given to the community and their members, by far, I don't want to speak highly, or I think Upland Chamber's been the best to me. They really
Very
have.
good. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah. So,
And here we are on a podcast.
right.
Who else has a podcast, right?
Cheers.
Cheers. With the Sonja coffee mugs. Who comes with a mug? Really? Of course she does. Thank you so very much for spending some time with us today.